Okay. What is going on, LBHT crew? B, what is going on?
What's going on is the Carolina Panthers about to take this entire league over. That's what's going on.
Okay, all right.
Simple. Simple.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of training camp, right? Like training camp, confidence is on high. All your hopes and dreams are still intact.
These aren't hopes and dreams.
Somebody has a good practice, and we think sky's the limit.
That's
you can
not
be hopeful.
Me. I don't overreact to training camp. You know that.
No. We all do. This isn't. We all. If there's a player that we identify and say this guy could be special, or this is somebody that could contribute, and you hear good things about him in training camp, it kind of confirms your opinions about that player. If you feel a certain way about a unit, defensive unit or wide receiver unit, whatever, and you're hearing good things in camp, you get excited about that, and you should get excited about it. This is like that week before Christmas. You know what I mean? Like this is that time of year for every NFL team to be excited. It's a brand new season, and truly, you don't know what can happen, right? Yes, it comes down to a handful of teams every year, but every now and then there's a team that just overachieves, a team that floated under the radar, that had some talent there, that's just waiting to break out, and this year could be the year. And we kind of feel that way with the Panthers.
No, you feel that way with the Panthers. I'm going to tell you how I feel about the Panthers, all right? Because every year, yes, there's a certain number of teams that you feel like are going to be back in the mix. They have been recently. And then there's those teams who you knew should have been in the mix all along, but they had various stumbling blocks. Bryce Young was a little gun shy. Andy Dalton is 85 years old. They had the wrong coaches in place.
Thanks to his car accident.
But now they're ready to go. You know what else happens in training camp or every season? You got teams who look the part, who have everything that they need, who fall on their faces in the playoffs every year. And I know I'm talking about the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to get into what happened in Ravens and Panthers training camp here in just a minute.
And the Panthers are always there. The Panthers are always there watching.
Segueing into the show. All right,
you can't segue into the show. That's not how it goes. First of all, it is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I think we're on Facebook. I'm pretty sure I posted it right.
It's all right.
So wherever you're watching us, make sure you hit that like button, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. No, we're growing on Facebook. You don't see. You don't check. We're absolutely growing.
I do check. We love our Facebook fans.
We do. We love all our fans. All right. But and also our audio fans. We have some loyal audio listeners. I checked the stats. Okay. Appreciate y'all. You know what? Come over to YouTube side sometime and shoot us a message or email us, LBHTShow@gmail.com. Let us know that you're out there listening, that you're enjoying the show. Also give us a 5-star review and share with your friends and loved ones, because we are trying to grow. And we're trying to grow on YouTube as well. So everybody that's enjoying the show, that loves the show, okay, tell about 5 people to hit that subscribe button, okay, and tell them to thank you later. That's what I want to happen.
If you really want to let us know that you're out there and you're listening, go to LBHTShow.com and buy yourself some merch, okay?
Yes.
Because we get those alerts everywhere. Right. If you subscribe, you might see it, we might not. If you do it during the show, it'll come up, it'll pop up, it'll tell us. But if you do it on a Friday morning, who knows? We might not see it for 3 weeks. But if you order some merch, we will know immediately. All right.
All right. Let's get some shout outs. Who we got here? We got Urban in the house. Salute to you. We got Big Reg says hello, my peoples. What's good, Big Reg?
We got number 1 in the house. We got Danity.
Salute Danity. Says welcome to the chat, kings and queens. Hit that like and subscribe button. Super chat is readily available. Facts. Newsletter, LBHTShow.com. Cash App, $ LBHTShow. I didn't forget about the newsletter. I told you I wasn't going to get to it right away. Last week was rough for me. It was rough for your boy. All right.
I don't
But
know what Davon's
it is
referring
coming.
to, but Davon is here as well. What's going on, Davon? Just love that
He's
rooster
talking.
every time I see it.
He's talking about your picture of the rooster right behind you
Maybe
in your
just
room.
why don't you mind your business, Davon? All right, like don't be pointing out stuff what I got on my walls and what I got on my shelves. All right, that's for
He
me.
likes your
That's
rooster.
for me.
He likes your rooster. Okay. He likes your whole setup.
Urban Closer says Coach sent him.
Salute, Coach. Talking about Coach Evans from Sip to Tally Films. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. He is at number 5 on his power rankings. I didn't look at who was number 5, but I saw you put that out today.
We got Ferris in the chat saying, Brodny, what Golden Girl you... No, we're not doing that, Ferris. I just said it's a great show. And you don't need to be ashamed about watching it. Everybody loves the Golden Girls. We're not doing these Cosmo quizzes to find out what Golden Girl you are.
Yeah, if you're like 48.
Everybody loves Golden Girls. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, everybody loves it. You ever seen the Golden Girls? You ever watch it?
Yeah, because when our mom used to make us watch it because there was only one TV in the house,
and you loved it,
and there was 4 channels,
and you loved it.
Yes,
everybody loves Golden Girls. Everybody loves it. It's one of the greatest shows ever made, honestly.
Yeah, it's not a bad show.
What's up, Coach?
What's going on, Coach? There's the man right there. Sip to Tally Films and more Sip to Tally Films. That's where you need to go and subscribe.
I just want to see in the chat real quick for the people who are here right now. Just put a thumbs up or something in the chat if you watch and enjoy the Golden Girls. Okay. There's nothing wrong. And then if you're a hater, I don't know, put a raven in the chat or something.
Or if you're under the age of 50.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, Golden Girls came out when we were kids.
What's going on, Bazel?
It's not like we that's not a show that everybody sat around like as a family and watched.
Everybody loves Golden Girls.
I'm not saying it was a bad show.
On that. Everybody,
you didn't watch Golden Girls either.
I watched Golden Girls all the time.
Don't be like Ferris and be fake.
I'm not talking about week to week. It wasn't like I wasn't watching anything week to week at that point. I'm talking about in syndication. I'll always watch Golden Girls. Not now because I have streaming now and I can just pick what I want to watch, so I don't have to mess with that. But I mean, back, we're from that era where sometimes it wasn't that long, and then you got to channel surf, and if you land on Golden Girls, you got to stop on Golden Girls. Anyway, whatever.
You just remind me of something else I want to talk about in the overtime show. Ari Lennox.
There you go.
I don't know if you know who that
there
is.
You go, Kogan. There's 2 types of people in this world: those who love Golden Girls and liars. Right.
You don't get any brownie points with B. I'm just letting you know right now. Yes, thank you for being a friend.
Kogan is the number 1 dude in the chat. Number 1.
Ari Lennox. You know who Ari Lennox is, B?
Yes.
Okay. She's a singer. I mean, unfortunately.
She has some good songs. Every time, I don't really know her for her music. I know her for just saying things that come off as pretty dumb sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's still pretty young. But I mean, she makes some good music. I like her music. But yeah,
I'm not saying she's not talented. I'm just.
But yeah, she was dumping on the Martin show and saying how she didn't like the Martin and
going on.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in the overtime show. There's one big problem with what she was saying. Martin never made any color jokes towards Pam in that show.
No, but she's saying that he went after Pam because she was darker skinned and than what's her name, Gina. They all just kind of dumped on Pam. But I mean that was a back and forth thing. That was a back and forth thing with both of them. That was their relationship. But whatever. It's neither here nor there.
So
Ari Lennox is 34,
it actually
by the way.
It actually okay, so that means she was like 8 when that show came out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't watch the show.
But
you know what I'm saying? But that dynamic
out there now though.
That's not a colorism thing. That dynamic represents any dynamic that you have. Like anybody that's been in a relationship and and the friend doesn't like the other person's
completely
partner.
on board. Yeah. With the friend.
That's what that that's
what's
what you
going
get.
on, Tracy?
Tracy, what's going on? Just glad to be here with the LBHT crew. Salute to you, Tracy. Appreciate you coming through.
But
Uh,
it is. I'm glad that she brought it up though, because it gives us a chance to just reflect for a moment on how incredibly talented everybody on that show was. Tashina
yes.
Arnold, Tisha Campbell, Martin, obviously, Tommy, unfortunately
Rest in
passed
peace.
away.
Yep.
Even Cole, Brodman, everybody.
Yes.
The Martin show was like the one time that I thought Tommy Davidson was funny. Like everybody was funny on that show.
He was. You didn't like him on In Living Color?
I mean, in Living Color, yeah. I mean, it's an ensemble. So yeah, he was fine on there. But I mean, I never really got into like Tommy Davidson out like on his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't really a big fan, but he was hilarious.
He wasn't like He made everything work. That was a great time. Just Aloe, salute to you. Thanks for coming through. Jade the Six, Kogan, A Woods, Matt D, Bazel, salute. Who else we got? Spiritual War Exposed. So Jimmy Horn was torching guys today. The Spirit of Justice, the Sigma Empath. Okay. Says, thank you for being a friend.
That's
all
the
right.
only reason I put that up, because that username scares me.
It shouldn't. He's your friend.
Thank you though.
He loves the Golden Girl, so he's not a liar. Okay. What else we got in here? Killer's in the house.
Spiritual War making Ari Lennox's point 4. He says, I thought Pam was ugly until I got older. Martin roasting her had me thinking she really looked like a werewolf. Wow.
I always thought she was fine.
Danity also partially agreeing with Ari. I think Ari is partially correct. Okay, well, come to the overtime show, Danity.
Yep, we're going to talk about it on the overtime show. Danny, just DM us. We got you. DM us. All right. You want to be a part of it? We got you. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. If y'all want to check that out. That's going to happen right after this show. All right. And we got, boy, do we have a lot to discuss on this overtime show.
We should probably get to the show. I mean,
we should probably get to the show.
We've been here for a minute.
Just so we can let people know, Shannon Sharp. There's some news on Shannon Sharp getting fired from ESPN. Gilbert Arenas, some more mishaps with him, and we're going to be discussing that. Yeah. All right, but we're here to talk some training camp, in particular about injuries, or one major injury, and some other NFL news. All right.
I do want to point out also, I'm sorry to interrupt, the exact same dynamic went on in Living Single with Eric Alexander and Kyle, who's, I think it was TC Carson, I believe his name is.
Yes.
But the only difference is they were single. And so eventually, they could get together. That wasn't the case with Martin and Pam. But it was the exact same thing going back and forth with them,
Yeah. I disagree. It's a colorism thing. I think that's just a dynamic between two people that, don't like each other, All right. We want to get this show started. But first, we like to start every show with the Black History Fact, and B and Okole have a Black History Fact for you.
This week on the LBHT Black History Fact, Carter G. Woodson, born in Virginia in 1875 to formerly enslaved parents, rose from modest beginnings to become one of the most influential historians in American history. His early life was shaped by hard labor, working in the coal mines of West Virginia. Yet he pursued education relentlessly, graduating high school at age 22 and eventually earning a Ph.D. from Harvard, becoming only the second African American to do so. Woodson believed that the omission of black people from historical narratives was both intentional and damaging, so he made it his life's mission to correct that. In 1915, he founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, aiming to promote scholarly research and recognition of African American achievements. A year later, he launched the Journal of Negro History, which became a vital platform for re-examining and documenting Black history from an academic perspective. Determined to educate a wider audience, he created the Negro History Bulletin in 1937, focusing on schools and the general public. One of Woodson's most lasting contributions came in 1926, when he established Negro History Week, choosing February to honor both Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. This observance eventually evolved into Black History Month, now celebrated nationwide. Beyond institutional achievements, Woodson's work championed the idea that African American history is integral to American history, not a side chapter. His legacy persists in educational curricula, scholarly research, and national consciousness. He passed away in 1950, but his impact lives on through the institutions he built and the intellectual frameworks he pioneered. His former home in Washington, D.C., now a National Historic Site, stands as a testament to his enduring vision.
You know, I just thought about something.
What's that?
Ari Lennox picked out a show that we all know she didn't watch growing up. And she missed the most obvious thing. She wanted to talk about colorism that didn't really happen on the show, but she doesn't talk about the colorism that happens in every Tyler Perry movie that's out there. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's the obvious colorism. Talk about that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't talk about that because I would never. You wouldn't catch me dead watching a Tyler Perry movie or TV show or anything. Anything that's got Tyler Perry's fingerprints on it does not have my eyes on it.
I can't stand that, man. No. I cannot stand him. All right, we're going. All right, overtime show. We'll talk more about it. Hendo's here. What's up, Hendo?
Just the Sigma Empath says the other guy's name is literally Spiritual War. Listen, I didn't say I was a big fan of Spiritual War. I'm just saying you got some usernames that are cause for concern in the chat. That's all. Right.
Thanks for coming through. Hendo from the Road Pod. Salute. He was doing a live stream with our girl Yolanda yesterday. Wait, did you do a live stream today? I thought they were going to do one today.
I don't think they did one
notification.
They were back yesterday.
Yeah, they said they were going to do another one today.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't get a notification, YouTube.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Either. Go subscribe to the Road Pod and Ravens Talk with Yolanda. All right, so hopefully you get the notifications and you can let one of us know because these YouTube notifications are crazy inaccurate. Omar Tillman, what's going on? Says, what's going on, fellas in chat? What's going on with you? Thanks for coming through. All right, B, how the Panthers looking in training?
Phenomenal. You want to know how the Panthers are looking? I will show you how the Panthers are looking right now.
All right.
We're gonna get a little. It's a real quick glimpse of how the Carolina Panthers have been looking in camp. How do you do it? No one knows. You know, there's one guy in the league that can make that catch. That's number 4, Tedero McMillan of the Carolina Panthers. People talking about he shouldn't have been drafted until the mid-20s. Carolina picked him up at 8, and it looks like he's about to unleash hell on the NFL, particularly the NFC South. Okay.
J.C. Horn said, "Why they only post those type of videos and they don't post the videos of when defense is making strip,
No, that's not true. Listen, J.C. Horn a hater. J.C. Horn is mad because J.C. Horn was the wrong pick. J.C. Horn mad because he's not as good as Patrick Surtain. J.C. Horn mad because he ain't get the kind of contract that Roshan Slater got, who should have been the pick. They posted. I saw clips of him locking up Xavier Legette. It's just still nobody care that you locked up a dude who can't get open on his best days. All right, I saw several clips of Chow. Is it Wade Smith or Smith Wade? I can't remember now. Chow.
Wade Smith.
Wade Smith breaking up passes. Now, granted, he got beat prior to breaking up the pass, but he recovered and made the play. Just nobody's excited about seeing J.C. Horn make an interception We're excited about seeing the 10th or 8th overall pick making a one-handed catch in the end zone, right? Because it's something that the Panthers haven't had recently. And it looks like they've got that, potentially got that number one role filled at wide receiver. He's been looking very good. Jimmy Horn has been looking very good in camp. Hunter Renfrow has been looking very good at camp. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hold on, maybe your defense just sucks. Yes, they do. But these receivers have been looking very good. Very, very good throughout camp. Kogan asking, is he allowed to use the nickname T-Mac? Yes. Apparently his mother came out and said that he doesn't like being called Tet. The short for Tetaroa, and he prefers T-Mac. Listen, I don't think it's any kind of disrespect towards Tracy McGrady, because if we're gonna be honest, Tracy McGrady, he never won a playoff series, so we can't be holding people back from using that nickname.
Neither has Tet.
Okay, well that's because he hasn't played yet. Tracy McGrady's career is over, and he never won one. Check back with me in February.
But yes, he can be called T-Mac. It's a different sport. If there was another basketball player in the NBA calling himself T-Mac, we would have some questions.
Much bigger problem with that.
Yes.
Like
he can call T-Mac
calling himself Melo when you're not Melo.
Yeah, there's only one Melo.
There's only one Melo. There will forever be only one Melo. And it doesn't matter.
Jared Green, what's good, man?
What's going on, Jared? Carmelo Anthony's one of the greatest basketball players who ever lived. You're not Melo.
Nope.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to disrespect our Olympic hero Carmelo Anthony like that.
Jada6 says, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, Why Did I Get Married? 1 and 2 staples. I like Why Did I Get Married 1. Why Did I Get Married 2? I was liking until the very end, and the very end is a perfect example of what I'm talking about in this colorism nonsense. Okay, what happened at the end? They got rid of the dark-skinned brother for The Rock.
What's going
on? Because what's going on? Diary of a Mad Black Woman is straight trash. Okay, you throw that in the trash with the rest of his trash movies.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Because salute, man. Thanks for coming through. All right, that's the last thing. Overtime show. The rest is for the overtime show. Okay, don't try to derail us. All right.
Yes. Trying to be in and out.
Yeah, no. Look, your wide receivers, I think, are going to be really good. I don't think the defense. Yeah, the defense isn't up to snuff, obviously, but there's a lot of moving pieces, right? Like they haven't really played together.
Yeah.
As a unit. So I think if most of the guys were here last year, that defense will look in camp a lot better. But I think as preseason ramps up, the season ramps up, that defense is going to look pretty good.
What you mean The Rock not light skinned, Danity? He ain't dark skinned.
Danny said he's not light skinned. I love him.
I will say that they have been, they've kind of figured out how to get Xavier to get the ball on the move. So he's catching in stride and running, and that I think is kind of a strength of his. He's big, strong, fast, and getting him the ball in space is going to be a big help to him. Like I said, Tetaroa's looking great. Adam Thielen is Adam Thielen.
Yeah,
he's Adam Thielen. There's not much to say there. Hunter Renfrow has been looking outstanding. Since he's been back. Glad that he got over his health issues and is able to come back, and he's looking very good for Carolina. I haven't heard much about the running backs, but you're not going to hear a whole lot about that position in these padless practices, because the hole's there, you run through the hole and they blow the whistle. So it's not a whole lot else going on. Chuba Hubbard, I've heard, is looking lean, looking fast. Trevor Etienne has kind of turned heads with a few plays. He's brown. Okay. Well, what do you what do you mean, Dan? All right, never mind. All right, he's brown. Okay. But let me ask you, is he light brown? But anyway, moving on. So
and that's why I say this, because Dan just derailed this. Do you know what happened at the end of Why I Get Married 2 when I said they replaced the dark skinned brother with The Rock? The dark skinned brother being Malik Yoba. who was married to Janet Jackson. They had a great marriage throughout the first season. Second season, it falls apart. And you know what happened to him at the end? He got ran over by a car. And then she meets The Rock, and that's how it ends. But no colorism there, nothing to see there.
Almost like that car got rid of the darkness in her life, and the light came in at the end. But anyway, I think the corners in Carolina, I think the secondary is going to be much tougher than last year, much tougher than people are expecting. I'm still a big fan of Chow. You know, J.C. Horn is obviously a good player. They need Mike Jackson to step up. But they brought in Trevon Moehrig. I'd still been expecting them to go out and sign a safety in free agency. Blackman just recently signed with, I believe, I wanted to say Chicago, but it probably isn't Chicago. But I think there's still a couple of guys out there if they want to add some more depth to that room. The real big question for Carolina is that linebacking core, where they lost Josie Jewell. They have Trevin Wallace. They lost Shaq Thompson. He's in Buffalo. I mean, they didn't lose and they cut him, but he's in Buffalo now. They signed Christian Roseboom, who has not to this point been a full-time starter in his career. So they're kind of hoping for him or looking for him to take a step up. But yeah, they're going to be struggling in that linebacker room, I think, for this season. But up front and on the back end, I think the defense is going to be much improved.
Yeah, I agree. And you have a good coach to get the most out of them. So
apparently they did try to run a jet sweep with Adam Thielen the other day. And I think that's good that you're getting that out of your system now, because what the hell are you thinking? But, you know, maybe it was just one of those things where like, hey, we're going to have some fun. We're going to hand the ball off to Adam Thielen now. And then we can all have a nice laugh.
Adam Thielen can play that older Ricky Proehl role now. You know what I mean? Because you have young talent on the team that can do a lot of work. Because Adam Thielen had to carry a lot last year.
Yeah.
Right. While Xavier Legette was developing, we'll say. And this year, hopefully he's developed to a point where he can really be more reliable. We think T-Mac is going to hit the ground running, and we like Jimmy Horn Jr. a lot. He'll play a small role in there. Adam Thielen's role doesn't have to be as big. So when you need those big third down conversions, or even sometimes fourth down conversions, he can be that for you. I think he's going to make a lot, because he made a lot of those catches last year, and I think he can still do that now, not being the focus of the offense.
Well, and it's funny because now they have two guys who can be that, because Hunter Renfrow is a third down killer as well. And a guy that we keep kind of overlooking and not mentioning, who is having a nice summer as well, as Jalen Coker, who's coming off a pretty good rookie year, considering he was an undrafted free agent. He had about 400 yards last year, and he's coming back. He looks improved. The tight end play, I think, should be greatly improved from last year. They did bring back Tommy Tremble, which, that's kind of holding the group as a whole down. And then they drafted another Notre Dame guy in Mitchell Evans. So they're really trying to sabotage that room. But Jatavian Sanders, it looks like he's picking up right where he left off before his injury. They say he's looking smooth, and he's making plays. So the offense as a whole looks pretty good. The one thing that's kind of popping up as an issue, not on the field, but just for the team in general, is the two tackles, Taylor Moton and Ike Ekwonu, who are both kind of eligible or coming up for contract. And it sounds like, and rightfully so, that the team is going to be focusing on getting Taylor Moton done. And then, Ekwonu, if he's able or willing to take less, can get his extension as well. But I think they're not 100% sold on Ekwonu at this point, so they're going to kind of let him play it out unless he's willing to take a little less to have that security.
Yeah. All right. Just how it says, Xavier Legette, or as I like to call him, Brodny's favorite wide receiver.
Don't do that. That should have been Ladd McConkey right there.
Ferris says touchdown Tommy Tremble. Yeah, not touchdowns. Touchdown Tommy Tremble. Game Too Easy says Carolina should be good this year, but they ain't gonna beat my Falcons. Oh, we
Oh,
got a Falcons fan in here. Okay.
they beat them last year when they weren't good, bro. All right, we had a super chat here from Will Robinson. It says great breakdown of the Panthers 10-win season loading. Absolutely, that was what when we did our prediction video. I have them at 10-7 and winning that division. I think it's going to be a great season for Carolina. I think they're finally back on that right track. I think Bryce Young is the guy after a pretty rough start. He's on track. He's ready to go. Yeah. Tedero and McMillan looks the part. You know, hopefully they get steps up and they get more production out of Coker and get something out of Jimmy Horn as well. But I think they've done a great job of putting that offense together around him. They brought back the entire offensive line, starters and backups. So I think that 10 wins is definitely doable. And I think that defense is going to go from, like I said, worst in the league to, well, you know, no, I'm not going to say average, but maybe a little bit below that this year. But I think they've done a lot of good work on that side of the ball as well. So
that'll make a big difference.
Yeah,
that make a big difference overall on the team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now on to that garbage team up north who just keeps falling short of expectations. The Baltimore
get that Tyler Perry hair out the heartbeat.
The Baltimore, you saying just because Lamar is he's not brown like The Rock? No, that's not what it is. All right. The word out of Baltimore Ravens camp is the defense is looking great.
Yeah.
The offense is still kind of getting rolling a little bit, you know, trying to get into the rhythm. But of course, the big story is Isaiah Likely, who is going to be having surgery on his foot and is going to be missing probably about a month and a half, about 6 weeks or so, which will put him kind of in jeopardy of missing the opening of the season.
Yeah. So here's the question, and I know Yolanda and Hendo asked this on their live stream last night. Do you guys see this as a major loss for the Ravens? It's kind of tricky because the talent wise, yes, I think he's more talented than Mark Andrews. Mm-hmm. I think given a full set of snaps, he is a top 5 tight end, maybe even top 3. He's very good, but we don't use him.
Top 3 might be pushing it there, but.
Yeah, because I mean, they got some.
Still, I mean, you know, Travis Kelce is falling off, but he's still you know in that top 5 range. Brock Bowers is there, Laporta, Hawkinson. You know, there's a lot of talented tight ends around the league.
I think he's better than Hawkinson.
I don't think so, man. I don't think that you know. I don't think we can say that without him actually going out there
getting a full set of snaps
for a full season.
But that's why I say he could be. From what we've seen, he could be right up there. Is basically my point.
But I don't think that this is a big loss for Baltimore because they don't use him very much when Mark is available, and I think that possibly his role was going to decrease this year. You know, a lot of people are expecting him to kind of break out, but Mark Andrews is back. They love Mark Andrews, not just the coaching staff and John Harbaugh. Lamar loves Mark Andrews. That's his guy. You know, they weren't going to bench Mark Andrews, right? And now you've added DeAndre Hopkins, so you have a guy who's going to want the ball in that third wide receiver spot, whereas last year you could kind of ignore Nelson Aguilar. But I think you're going to have to give DeAndre far more targets than you gave Nelson last season. And then on top of that, it's a team that just doesn't like to throw the ball that much, right? And so you got Derrick Henry, you got to give the ball to. You got Justice Hill, who really cemented his place in the offense last season, and you got Keaton Mitchell coming back, who was an explosive playmaker as a rookie. Hopefully he's back to 100%. You're going to want to get him some touches. Like I said, DeAndre Hopkins is out there, and Mark Andrews being back. I think that was going to just cut into Isaiah Likely's production already, you know, even without the injury.
You make a good point, right? And I didn't think about that. Will his production, even being healthy, would have would it have gone down? Because we're kind of expecting likely to kind of blow up this year. I think it depends. It depends on how healthy both of those tight ends are throughout the year. If Andrew stays healthy, obviously they're going to keep him at tight end 1, and he plays well during the regular season. The issue isn't the regular season; it's the postseason.
Yeah.
But if he gets dinged up, if he he's kind of slows down a little bit, then I can see them going to likely a little bit more, and he can take over that spot. So yes, also with D Hop there, D Hop's going to get more targets than Aguilar got last year. So that might diminish, and like you said, they're only going to pass the ball but so many times. So that might diminish his role. And this injury doesn't help either, because I think he's going to miss. They say he might be available for week 1. I say don't rush it. He might miss that first 3 weeks, and that's fine. You want him healthy. You don't want him going out there and trying to play through an injury and he's not completely healed and it's bothering him the whole season. So week 3, week 4 maybe for Isaiah Likely, and we should be okay. Oh, there goes my connection there. I'm still here, guys. Give me a second.
A damn shame. But outside of the Isaiah Likely stuff, from what we've been hearing, the defense is looking like the defense should be looking, right? You're getting a little bit of a slow start from the offense, which is to be expected. The offense is usually behind the defense early on in the season, or in training camp and in preseason and things like that, and even extending into the regular season. For Baltimore, I mean, I don't know. It's the question for me is, are they going to play their guys in the preseason and actually get themselves ready for the regular season? I mean, I'm assuming the answer is no. It's kind of a philosophical thing with Harbaugh and that staff. But every year, and this year in particular, they've got a really, really tough start to the season. This year, it's about 6 games worth of tough starts, and I just don't feel like it's a wise thing to really come into the year and not be prepared, not have the starters ready to go, and potentially drop a couple games that you might need later on. Now, this year the AFC North doesn't look particularly daunting. The best team outside of Baltimore is probably Pittsburgh, and I mean, I feel zero threat with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So
I think Cincinnati.
Since I would say Cincinnati, but Cincinnati ain't got no defense, and who knows if Trey Hendrickson's even going to be playing for them this year.
Yeah,
I just don't think that the other 3 teams in that division are as close to Baltimore as they have been in recent years. So I guess if there was one year where they would be able to get away with losing a few early, it would be this season. I just think it's a better idea to get your guys ready and kind of hit the ground running.
You talking about playing them in preseason?
Yeah. Especially a team like Baltimore that has, I mean, if we're being honest, they've got some demons with the teams that are on their schedule early in the year, right? Those are teams that you're going to see in the playoffs. And yeah, I mean,
who's the first 3 games?
Let me pull it up here.
Buffalo's week 1. The funny thing is, we don't have a problem with Buffalo in the regular season. We have a problem with them in the postseason.
No, I'm saying in the postseason they have problems with these teams.
Yeah.
Let me get to their schedule real quick.
But no, I see your point. Like, we don't want to drop games in a regular season and have to go on the road, right? Like, we rather be at home playing these teams.
So they've got Buffalo, then Cleveland, then Detroit, then Kansas City, then Houston, and the Rams. That's their first 6 games. So that's 6 tough games. Maybe Cleveland's not as tough because they've got questions at quarterback right now. Buffalo's a team that you're going to have to see in the postseason. That's at Buffalo. Detroit is a Super Bowl contender. Kansas City, I mean, obviously is Kansas City, and that game is at Kansas City. Houston, we'll see if they bounce back from last year, but that's a tough team. And then the Rams, again, with Sean McVay there, they're always tougher even than their record looks.
Yeah. Slicer59 says, "Hey guys, good to have you back again. Likely injured, hurts. in my opinion, he's the top 3 tight end. Okay. All right.
Right.
Well, if he's top 3, where do you rank Andrews?
Top
Right?
two, not two, right?
Top 2, not 2.
That's what it's been for years. I don't think likely is that high, but he is a very talented receiver. I just don't think it's going to affect Baltimore, at least in the regular season, very much. Just because I don't think he's going to have a huge role in the regular season.
Just Al says, why do we have to play Kansas City every year? Ratings.
Yeah, that's a big time matchup. The NFL needs to do more of that. You know, and I forget who it was, but they were making the point that they're terrible at scheduling regular season. Like you had a whole era of Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers where you had to hope that they both made the Super Bowl to see them play. You know,
Yeah, and I want to play
those
Kansas
games
City
together.
And playing them early is to our advantage because they don't actually get rolling until later on in the year. You know, so playing them early on in the season, that's better for us. Not saying we're gonna win, but we have a better chance. You know, catching them early on, or you know, maybe this is the year they're not as good, and this, you know, we got it this time, right? It all depends, but we can't be afraid to play anybody if we think
I think
we can
that
win.
Kansas City's going to be better. I mean, they say that the tackle they drafted, who Baltimore passed on, is looking like
Yes.
the real deal.
Yes, we knew that.
They've got
The one from Ohio State.
Yeah, Simmons.
What's his name? Simmons.
Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
They've got second year Xavier Worthy. Rashee Rice will be back at some point. He's going to get suspended, but he'll be back at some point. They've got Hollywood Brown. They just drafted another running back in Brashad Smith to add to that room. So like they don't have anybody overwhelming in their backfield, but it's a very deep backfield with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. They have Elijah Mitchell, and now they added Brashad Smith as well. I think that, you know, and if Josh Simmons, you know, is out there and he stays healthy, that could solidify their O-line, which is their biggest issue last year. I think that last year was the year to get them, and you know, congrats to Philly, they did, but I think they're going to be better.
Yeah. Keaton Mitchell, we kind of glossed over him, but we had a conversation off air about Keaton Mitchell. Where do you see his role on the team this year? Like, how many touches do you think he gets a game?
I think he doesn't have a role on the team this year. I think he should. I think that if you're a good offensive coordinator, you find ways to get him the ball. I don't think they're going to try to. I think they're going to settle with Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. You know, he'll get touches here and there, but he's not going to have a consistent role, I don't think.
Yeah, Todd Monken kind of alluded to that in his press conference. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Somebody asked him about Keaton Mitchell, and he basically said is, hey, look, we got Derrick Henry here now, and it's going to be hard for him to get his touches because Justice Hill played well last year. He's the backup, and then, you know, they want Derrick Henry to be the workhorse, but he's older now. We need him for the playoff run. Do you want him to carry the ball as much as he did last year? They didn't want him to carry the ball as much as he did last year, but they kind of leaned on it. You know, like they kind of relied on it because when he did get the ball, good things happened. So they just kept feeding him the ball. But you have other explosive running backs on the team. Justice Hill can break for big runs too. And Keaton Mitchell absolutely can break for big runs. So you can preserve Derrick Henry a little bit by letting those guys touch the ball a little bit more. Yeah. And also passing. Right? You have one of the best passers in the league. Don't be afraid to air it out some. There's a lot of ways that you can keep this team fresh for a playoff run without having to lean on your 30-something-year-old running back.
I mean, 31, yeah. But yeah.
P. Brodny was good. Thanks for coming through. Says 5-7 a game depending on game flow. 5 to 7 carries? I don't know. That'd be really good.
That's what it should be, but I don't think they're going to end up doing that. I think that they're going to not back off of Derrick Henry. You know, he's going to get as many carries as he can handle, and the rest are going to go to Justice Hill. And yeah, Keaton will get in there in spots, but I don't think it's going to be anything consistent. But we'll see. You know, but I
just
think
Al doesn't think that they're going to pay
7 should be where he's at.
Just Al says he don't think they're going to pay likely. Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, I think they will. Like, I think they're
Or
gonna
yeah,
move on from Mark Andrews, and they'll pay likely.
yeah. I take it back.
Zay is the one they're not gonna pay.
Yes.
So
Todd play calls going to be predictable again. I don't think his play calls were too predictable. It wasn't Giro level predictable. I don't think he did a bad job. Right. My issue is the investment that you put into the offense. Right. The offense played really well last year. Granted, Lamar makes everything look great, but imagine if he had an O line.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I don't think Tom Munkin is doing a bad job overall with the offense. I think there's little investment made in the offense. Coach had to break down on his show a couple weeks ago. We are dead last in money spent on the O line.
mm-hmm.
Nobody spend. Who spends less than us? Nobody. Right?
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, the only thing that's boosting our number up, I think overall we're not even average. The only thing that boosts our number up is Lamar's contract on the offensive side. We don't spend money over there, and that's what you're asking him to go out there and make things happen with. And you guys encourage it. Okay, when we go in the draft and we draft a safety for a second time in the first round, you guys clap it up. And you say, "Oh, great pick. EDC did it again. Oh, defense is going to look great." Right? When we go inside Jair Alexander, oh, great move. Defense is stacked. Nobody's going to throw on us. But when we say, man, what happened to the O-line? What happened to wide receiver? Oh, it's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good enough. And when you have just good enough, or you have guys that you just want to go out there, you're hoping Tez Walker is the guy this year that's going to step up, and they don't step up because they play to the level that they actually are.
Tez Walker was my breakout player for the season. I told you 400 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Tez Walker.
They play to the level that they are. You guys get mad, and it's got to be the play calling. It ain't the play calling, it's the talent, man. You got to have talent on your team.
Some of it's play calling though.
Some of it can be play calling.
When you're inside the 3, and you have Derrick Henry, and you throw it to Ronnie Stanley, it's the play calling.
Is that? But that's not Todd Monken.
I'm not saying for sure it's Todd Monken. I'm just saying that there were times they had some terrible play calling. If you just line up and you give the ball to Derrick Henry 4 times, you score a touchdown.
If John Harbaugh is talking about that pass play to Ronnie Stanley, that's because he called it that way. If he didn't call that and Tom Monken decided to drop that play, Tom Monken would be fired. That's 100% John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And John Harbaugh should be fired.
I was going to say, who do you think is a better first-round pick, Starks or Josh Simmons? Hands down, Josh Simmons. He plays a much more important position. And that's not to say that Malachi Starks isn't a good player.
Right.
If they're equal prospects, because a lot of people had Josh Simmons as the top tackle in this draft, if not for his injury. But if they're equal prospects, you take the left tackle 100% of the time.
This brings up this is a great segue into this question. Who is the better player, J.C. Horn or a man in L.A.?
Rashawn
Slater. Panthers fans, because we said this is draft night. Who was the better pick, J.C. Horn or Rashawn Slater?
It was Rashawn Slater 100%. And listen, J.C. Horn was probably about the 5th person that they should have taken at that spot. They should have taken Justin Fields because you needed a quarterback. But it's a yes or no on quarterback right there. And if you don't believe in Justin Fields, okay, you passed on Justin Fields, fine. Rashawn Slater absolutely should have been the next pick. He's a left tackle. You desperately need a left tackle. That should have been the pick. Micah Parsons was available at that pick. Edge rusher is a much more important position. Could have taken him right there. They could have taken, Jalen Waddle at wide receiver. They didn't have, they needed help in that wide receiving core at that point as well. Pat Surtain, who went with the very next pick, just won Defensive Player of the Year. And they took J.C. Horn over him. So you can't argue that it was a good pick. It was a bad pick, but yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, I mean, Jay says so. Jose, we can pencil Caleb Downs to the Ravens. Who's Caleb Downs?
Caleb, I'm not even sure.
Hendo says short arms, hands down.
Yeah, that was part of the thing with Rashawn. He has shorter arms than some coaches. Like, oh, Caleb Downs the safety, uh, but no, from Ohio State. But no, there's that thing with not drafting tackles with shorter than 34-inch arms, and it's stupid. It's stupid.
It is.
But like I said, even if you were that guy who would disqualify a player based off of that, it still shouldn't have been J.C. Horn at that point.
So Jay is joking about that safety thing, but I wouldn't put it past them.
No.
If Malachi Starks ends up being the safety that we think he can be, I can see them saying we don't want to pay Kyle Hamilton. Right, and let's just draft his replacement. We got Malachi Starks already.
Or if Malachi's not the guy that they think he is,
yeah,
then for sure, right?
That's right.
Because you ain't trusted Ardarius coming back off of that Achilles tear, right? So
right,
and that safety is always going to fall right into your lap because the rest of the league don't care.
Yeah, if he's really that good, then he will drop to us, and we'll say that the value is too good to pass up on. So it could absolutely happen. I hate the way they conduct their business. I hate it.
It's disgusting.
All right, we're going to keep this going because we have a lot to discuss on the Overtime Show. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. You want to be a part of this discussion. We've already discussed some of it. All right, we got derailed by this Tyler Perry shenanigans and this Martin fake colorism argument. Okay, we'll talk more about that. We're going to talk about Gilbert Arenas. Oh my God, Gilbert Arenas.
I'm glad we didn't do our dumbest criminals list because I didn't even think about Gilbert, but he tops that list hands down.
He's a special kind of criminal. We'll talk about it on the Overtime Show, but he is something. We'll talk about Shannon Sharp losing his ESPN gig. Not really a big deal for him, if we're being honest. And we'll talk about that. It's not really a big deal. Like, we're going to laugh at him. But I don't think it really hurts him, to be honest. Osmond says, he's on the killer. That's a good way of putting it. But I think protecting Lamar and opening holes for the King is a priority. Of course. What's more important than that? If you're only asking Lamar. Yeah, if you're only asking Lamar to win the games.
Yeah.
You guys never put it on the defense ever. Like, we pretend like we want the 2000s defense around here, but I remember when those defenses had bad games and weren't that many. That's all anybody talked about. Didn't matter if Kyle Bowler threw 3 interceptions. We expected that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We expected him to turn the ball over. Yeah, of course Kyle sucked. We know he sucks. But why are we giving up touchdowns? That used to be a talk around here.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody was caught out of assignment, that was the talk. The defense is supposed to do their job. I remember when Ray Lewis was mic'd up, and I think it was against the Rams. We were playing the Rams, and Kyle Bullock threw a pick 6, and he went to him and said, listen, just don't give them points. That's all we're saying. We're not going to let them score. You just don't give them points, and we'll take care of the rest. We don't have that kind of defense here. Right? That defense doesn't exist anymore. We have a good defense coming up here. But they need to have a
good defense.
They better. Yeah. But they need to have that type of attitude where it doesn't matter if the offense stumbles a little bit because they're not giving up points.
What's going on, Yolanda?
Yolanda, what's going on? Thanks for coming through.
If you are not subscribed already, which I'm sure you are, head over to Ravens Talk with Yolanda. She was just live yesterday with Hendo. Glad to see you back. Hopefully it's a regular thing, not just dropping in and then disappearing. But yeah, if
she's
you're not
back.
subscribed,
She's back
go
for
ahead
good.
and head over there and hit that subscribe button.
Yes,
so
great
I
content.
We gotta move on here. we want to wrap this up pretty quickly. Actually, before we get to the Cam thing, let's talk real quick about whether or not it's okay to wish your boys sweet dreams, as somebody on Twitter said. Can't even wish my homies sweet dreams anymore. Christian Wilkins, who was released from the Raiders, had a weird incident. They said, "Yes, Cam, we can see your comments." Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show and said that the alleged weird incident was he tried to kiss a teammate on top of their head. And listen, I'm not saying that everybody would be welcoming to that, but there's no chance that anybody is so upset that they go and complain to the team and get you cut, and there's no chance that the team would respond by cutting you if you're Christian Wilkins and that's all you did.
Okay, first of all, Adam Schefter is such a liar.
Yeah.
And Mike Florio, I hate bringing up Mike Florio's name. I do not like Mike Florio.
Mike Florio, he'd been killing it since he hooked up with Pablo.
He has. He immediately came out. He didn't call Adam Schefter a liar.
Yeah.
Flat out. But that's pretty much what he said. He said, that's not the reporting I got. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, he didn't, completely put it out there. And he actually went a little further and explained why Adam Schefter would report something like that, basically just saying, hey, it's a favor for a favor, right? Like Christian Wilkins has the same agent as somebody else that needs to get signed, and they might break the story to Adam Schefter first if the deal gets done, and if he says something favorable about Christian Wilkins, something like that. Kill says you can come be a woman beater and a criminal, but you can't be zesty. Well, it's okay. So I want to talk about that, right? Because I actually heard. Clot, what's good? I actually I heard somebody talk about that. I can't remember who was saying it. And he was just saying, hey, look, there's still a little homophobia in the locker room. You do things like that that's going to set people off. Mm-hmm. This isn't a homophobia thing, man. That is unwanted touching.
Yeah, right? That's sexual harassment or sexual assault, depending on what he did. But I think the homophobia thing is also true. But that's, again, like I said, that's not the issue here necessarily. You don't touch people that don't want you to touch them.
Yeah, and it wasn't a playful kiss, right? Because even if the person didn't like it, that turns into a fight. Mm-hmm. Right? That doesn't turn into I'm reporting you to HR. Yeah. And for what the Raiders described as a very weird situation, that's not a very weird situation. That's not a very weird situation. Something else happened. It might have been a playful kiss and then something else, or it might have ended with a playful kiss, but something else happened. But yeah, when you touch somebody, and also it may have been more to it. If you were saying or doing something disrespectful to that person, and they say, I just want to give him a playful kiss. No, like you disrespected me. That's going to end up in a fight too. But my point is, there's locker room, there's
not a whole lot that's ending up in HR. So it had to be something way out of
an NFL locker room. The HR are your fists. Right. Okay, those are your human resources right here. It doesn't get reported. This is where it gets reported. Yeah. So it's something else going on, and I don't know, man. Like I said, they said it's a very weird situation. They got rid of him. I don't hear anybody speaking out in defense of him or anything like that.
No, there's always been stories about him being weird, like just doing weird stuff. Like he'd be trying to grab people in piles and everything, and it's just, I think he's a dude who needs to go to some kind of counseling and get himself under control. Like honestly,
yeah.
Because like I said, for as good a player as he is, for as much as they had invested in him, to turn around and cut him like that, I mean, it had to be something pretty out there, pretty over the line. And if he thinks it's okay enough to risk his career, he's got some issues that he needs to work on before he signs anywhere else.
Yeah, and before you guys even ask, no, he should not sign in Baltimore, right? Should the Ravens take a look at him? No.
Before you ask, I mean, Carolina might want to take a look, but we'll let him deal with his own personal issues first. This is a Hunter Renfrow, Josie Jewell situation. Get yourself right, and then we can talk. Don't call him up right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And Reg says he's been sexually assaulting people for years. He should be in jail. Well, I mean, listen.
Maybe.
I'm
Maybe. I don't know.
Not gonna argue with you.
Just Al say he's Justin Tucker at 300 pounds. Oh, no.
No, man.
Where are you guys getting your information from? What are your sources?
I tried to kiss the homie on top of the head once. I didn't end up in HR.
You end up in ER.
Right. But yeah, no, it's an odd situation. Obviously, we got to wait for more details to come out, but I don't think anybody's really buying what Adam Schefter was trying to sell.
No, not at all. Even how he reported it, I was like, nah, this sounds fake. This does not sound. This sounds slimy. He's a slimy person in general, but it felt super slimy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
all right, so we're gonna move on to our last story of the evening. Before we hit some submitted questions and get out of here. This is an extension of what we talked about last week with Cam Newton, with the Ryan Clark beef that was going on. He threw a couple of shots at other people. He threw some shots at David Orlovsky. He threw a shot at Gillie Da Kid.
Yes, from $1 million worth of game.
And Gillie didn't appreciate that, and Gillie responded. And then Cam had a response to Gillie's response. So we're going to play some of that for you right now.
Cam Newton, Jalen Hurts did what you couldn't do. That was win a Super Bowl.
There will not be no playing with my name, with my career. This is all entertainment here.
Man, shut your tight jean wearing ass up, man. You had on a jersey with a bow tie, you corny ass nigga. You will never be able to with Jalen Hurts, nigga. You super goofy, corny ass nigga.
I know why you in your feelings, Gillie. Was it the album comment? Can you name me one Gillie Da Kid album? Damn. Did you know his album was Philadelphia?
That kind of struck a nerve.
Where I'm from, Gillie, we stab and we twist. Wise words was told to me, they say, when you go low, I go to hell. So let's bring up your actual facts and your actual stats. When I'm looking at your rap career, Gillie did not chart any solo singles on the Billboard Hot 100. Philadelphia didn't do no numbers? Dang. Former member of Major Figures, bass rap group late 90s and early 2000s. You ain't never been great at nothing. The only great thing that Gillie does, he's a great mascot. Big hat, dancing around, yeah, getting them going. Mascot, very questionable career. We can't relate on a lot of things, Gillie. And if it wasn't for Wallow, all credibility on $1 million worth of game would be really at question. Because he has a wisdom about him. Wallow, that is. I respect that. And I also respect Gillie. But respectfully, brother, we cannot relate. While you're dancing on the sideline, I was in the game. Please understand, when I said your name, most people didn't know who you were. They said, who, Gillie? Who is that? Man, you know the dude that be walking around with the big old hat. Oh, that dude. Man, don't take him serious. That's the narrative about you, guy. You can't beat me in nothing. And I mean nothing. That's basketball, that's football, that's baseball, that's rock, paper, scissors, that's chess, that's checkers, that's tennis, that's golf. All I'm asking for is respect. But just be mindful how you use and you talk about me. But I'm rooting for you. I'm gonna subscribe to $1 million worth of game. I will be looking for your repeated response. And this is my challenge to you. Try to refrain from using the N-word in every sentence. Use your nouns and your verbs and adjectives, brother. Not just every word being a curse word.
Corny ass nigga.
Oh man, I mean, Cam wasn't wrong about anything he said there.
No, I think it's odd, a little odd. Like, I think people have an image of Cam that is not correct. We'll just put it that way. Like they envision him, a certain way because for the most part during his career he was very professional, right? And I don't, you just got this idea of Cam that because a lot of the mainstream media didn't really like Cam and went after Cam for a long time. You've got these clowns out here now talking about the 2015 team, how Cam didn't carry anybody, and how stacked that roster was. So obviously they didn't watch any of that team play. But the disrespect for Cam Newton has been loud from day one all the way through the end of his career, and so it has people like whoever this individual is thinking that they can go after Cam. It has Ryan Clark thinking, "Oh, I can just go after Cam whenever I feel like it." But Cam is. He seems like a pretty laid back guy, a pretty easygoing guy, a really he seems like a nice guy, right? But if you're going to be disrespectful and you're going to be personally disrespectful, Cam has shown over and over and over and over that he's not afraid to send it right back to you. So I don't understand why people keep trying him.
It's like you say, it's the smile, it's his hat. It's funny because he talked about Gillie's big hats, but like the hats that he wears, like he does his own thing. He has his own style. But you're right though. Like he's never bothered anybody.
No,
you know what I mean. And it's not like one of those things where like the thing that bothered me about Ryan Clark is he went so far at the deep end over his take on Jalen Hurts, but it wasn't anything like he didn't say anything that was too out out of pocket. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He gives his opinions, and listen, I'm not even saying that I agree with Cam's opinions. Like he's got some strange opinions on some stuff, but he always gives those opinions in a respectful way. Right?
Yeah, it's not an RG3 thing.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not an Emmanuel Acho thing where they're clearly trying to be disrespectful, but they're hiding under the shroud of, I'm just being honest, and it's all love, it's all respect. No, like you meant to be disrespectful. You meant to agitate people, and it's good that you get called out on that. That's not Cam Newton.
No. Cam's just enjoying himself, talking about sports and everything, and then people come after him, and then he responds. And it's all with a smile on his face because, like I said, it's all entertainment there. Just Alice says Michael Jai White is a laid back guy too, and you can do them things physically that Cam can do. You can afford to be laid back. Yeah, yeah. And listen, I'd never really seen anything or heard anything that this Gillie Da Kid has done, but he sounded like a clown in them clips.
I remember Major Figures. I mean, it wasn't, they weren't anything big, but and $1 million worth of game is a big podcast, but he's right. Like Wallow really, plays a major role in that. And it's a solid podcast, I'm not going to take that from him, but yeah, I mean, he's a Philly fan. He's a Philly fan, and that's just him trying to, acting like a Philly fan. But my thing is, you're not a Philly fan the way we're Ravens fans. You know what I mean? Like you have a big platform, so you have to conduct yourself a certain way. Like Cam is somebody that you would want to have on your show. I wouldn't be surprised if you end up on the show. Yeah. But like you have a big platform when you do these videos over stuff. Like he took a little shot at you. I can't remember what he said first, but he said something about Cam first. I mean, look, he showed you if you want to go low, he'll go lower. You know what I mean? And everything he said is 100% facts. He didn't say a single lie why he was making fun of you. Like, yeah, it's a diss. Yeah, he took some low blows, but he's absolutely right. But I don't think it goes any further than that. He said at the beginning of that episode too that he wasn't taking it any further. Like it's not. He said it's all entertainment for him. He does this for fun. Yeah. Same thing with Ryan Clark. He's like, I talked to Ryan Clark. He's like, it's not, he's like, he takes a shot, I'm gonna take a shot. And I believe that. Those are two football players that are used to trash talking each other, saying worse things than that on the field.
Yeah. And
it's nothing for them to move on from a battle of words, Yeah.
It's I guess personally irritating, because I'm a big Cam Newton fan, but to see the way people react to this kind of stuff and taking shots at Cam and his career as if Cam Newton wasn't one of the most gifted players to ever play in the NFL, period.
Yeah.
Now, it was unfortunate for him that he ended up in Carolina during a time when they were one of the worst run franchises in football. But one guy said that 2015 team was one of the most stacked Super Bowl teams ever. Like, they had Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen's a great player. Greg Olsen's a great tight end, right? Jonathan Stewart was a very good running back. He was injury prone, and that's what happened in the Super Bowl. He got hurt again in the Super Bowl, so he didn't really play. But outside of that, I mean, the wide receivers on that team were Ted Ginn, Jericho Cotchery, Philly Brown, and Devin Funchess. That's one of the worst receiving corps to ever make the Super Bowl. You know, you had Michael Oher and Mike Remmers as your starting tackles going up against DeMarcus Ware and was it Von Miller. It was a joke. Like, it was an absolute joke. You had those wide receivers going up against 3 first-round corners on that Denver defense. And then you had people talking about, oh, that Denver defense wasn't like a all-time great defense. Nobody said that until they shut down Cam. They completely shut down Tom Brady 2 weeks before that. Tom Brady completed 48% of his passes in the AFC Championship game against that defense with 1 touchdown and a couple interceptions, right? Like, it's not like, Cam failed because he showed up or they got to the Super Bowl and he just didn't show up. No, they were a team that was carried by Cam Newton's greatness on that side of the ball, period. And they got to the Super Bowl and they played against a team that had talent, real talent, all over the defense. And the game went the way it went. Even with that, had the referees made a couple calls differently, had a couple plays here and there gone differently, like, Ted Ginn been able to close his hands around a football, Jericho Cotchery had been able to outrun Von Miller downfield, it's a completely different game. But the idea that Cam Newton was some kind of failure or anything like that is it exposes you as somebody who either never watched him or just doesn't know what you're talking about. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is why we approach our show the way we do, right? Because the narrative against black coaches, black quarterbacks is always 10 times more amplified, than their white counterparts. Donovan McNabb said this decades ago, that black quarterbacks have to do twice as much as their white counterparts, and he got slammed in the media for that. Mm-hmm. But he was 100% on point, and the reason why we're so critical and B is so critical of the Ravens, even as a Panthers fan, is because we saw how the Panthers handled Cam's career. They didn't handle it well. They didn't give him everything that he needed to win. And when he tried to put the team on his back, he got them to the Super Bowl. And when he fell short, it's all his fault, right? Even though they gave him no O-line to work with. They didn't give him any star wide receivers, anybody. Like, that stacked team that everybody's talking about, Ted Ginn was the best wide receiver on that team. Would you like to have Ted Ginn on your team?
No. Just on your team. Not as your number 1 receiver like he was in Carolina. Just on the roster, you wouldn't want Ted Ginn.
Right. So, and people will try to run that narrative with Lamar too. Oh, he's got everything he needs. He should win. Really? Who would you give up a first-round pick for on the team? Which one of his weapons would you say, man, I would trade a 2 first-round picks for that guy? Who's the player? So how stacked is his team if you want to give a first-round pick for any of those players? Not stacked at all, right? It's just a narrative that they run out there. So we like to call out that BS over here.
Yeah.
All right. Submitted questions.
And we got submitted questions, and then we'll be
I want to tell this story, right? Because we talk about John Harbaugh, talk about EDC, but John Harbaugh especially, how it's time for him to go. And the narrative is, hey, Harbaugh is a Super Bowl winning coach, right? He's a good coach. We won a Super Bowl with him. That's 12 years ago now, right? Or 13 years, 13 years ago. It's way too long ago to be holding on to that Super Bowl and holding it up as a reason to keep our Super Bowl coach around. And I want to tell the story real quick. Over the weekend, went to this birthday dinner and talking to this young guy from Philly, diehard Philly fan, right? Eagles fan. And we're just talking, and he's all pumped about them winning Super Bowl. And, He hadn't been watching football for that long. He's young. He's just like, he's like, and he said, he's like, my short time being an NFL fan, like really getting into football, I seen the Eagles win 2 Super Bowls. It's crazy, And he's like, I'm really pumped about it. And he asked me, he's like, you're a Ravens fan? I was like, yeah. And my man loves Lamar Jackson. And he's not the only Eagles fan to say what he said to me. He's just like, I really want to see Lamar win a ring. Right? This is an Eagles fan just coming off a Super Bowl, wants to win another one. He's like, if we don't win it, he's like, Lamar got to win one. And he talked about, for him, the impact that Lamar had on the league and on his viewing experience, right? Watching football. He loves watching the Ravens play football because of Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And he asked me, because he talked about Philly winning 2 Super Bowls, and he asked if the Ravens have any Super Bowls. And I was like, yeah, we got 2. One with Ray Lewis. I said we got 2 with Ray Lewis, but
that's 2 for me.
I said, right. Yeah, 2, yeah. But I was like, the last one we won. I asked him, I said, well, how old are you? He said, I'm 25. 25. So I said, okay, so the last time we won, you're about 12.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I wasn't watching football yet. I said, yeah, we won one with Joe Flacco as a quarterback. And his eyes got all wide. He was like, Joe Flacco? He's like, yo. He's like, that's wow. You won with Joe Flacco? I was like, yeah. That was our franchise quarterback. He had no idea that Joe Flacco on the Cleveland Browns was our franchise quarterback that led us to a Super Bowl. That's how long it's been since we won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So stop talking about it.
Right.
Okay? It's damn near non-existent at this point. We got to step away from that. We got to stop acting like we have a Super Bowl caliber coach in John Harbaugh. We got this organization that all they do is win, 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 win. We haven't won in a long time. Put that behind you. Stop talking about it. It is ancient now.
Yeah, my nephew Jacob was -3 or whatever last time y'all won a Super Bowl, right?
Right.
So yeah, no, it's time. It's time. It's either it's win or go time for Harbaugh. All right, but we're gonna move on to the submitted questions. And then we're going to get out of here. Let's see. Let me pull these up real quick. We have several questions. Starting off with, wait a minute. Somebody posted another one. You can't keep posting like at the time of the show.
Right, and if you want to submit a question, just real quick, if you want to submit a question, you can email us, LBHTShow at gmail.com. You can DM us on any of our social media platforms. That's all the same, at LBHT Show. No matter what platform you like to frequent, we're there. DM us, ask us a question there, or you can do it in the community tab on YouTube, which is how most people leave their comments and leave their questions. All those ways are acceptable. Just if you're DMing us or whatever, just put hashtag submitted questions so we know it's where to submit questions. T, what's going on, T? She says, I'm a lifelong Ravens fan, season ticket holder, and I love the Eagles. My sister lives in Philly, 25 years, Eagles fan for life, loves her some LJ. Yeah.
Listen, outside of the people who hate Lamar for reasons, everybody loves Lamar Jackson. There's nothing to hate there. Absolutely nothing to hate. Yeah, he's on the field, he's one of the greatest to ever do it, and one of the most entertaining to ever do it. Right, off the field, he's had 0 incidents off the field, and he's nothing but respectful in the media. So there's nothing there to hate. Right. So unless you have other reasons, everybody loves Lamar Jackson. Yep. But we're going to start this one off. This one's probably the most difficult one, so I'm going to start with this, and then we can kind of circle back to it. Just curious, what Ravens do you think should be in the Ring of Honor who haven't been inducted yet? So if you don't have an answer right away, go ahead and just think about that, and we'll circle back and answer that one last. When was the exact moment? That was from Mike Holt, by the way. Thank you very much. This one from EasyG3 says, when was the exact moment y'all realized EDC wasn't a good GM?
So a couple of Ravens players that I like to see in the Ring of Honor. One, we just talked about Joe Flacco. I know he's still playing, but I like him to go in the Ring of Honor. And also Anquan Bolden and Torrey Smith.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, well, I thought it was going to take you longer to come up with stuff, so we'll go ahead and answer that one now. Yeah, I do agree. I agree with all those. Torrey Smith, incredible player. Seems like a great person. He absolutely should be in the Ring of Honor. And I wouldn't be mad at him being in the Ring of Honor in Carolina either. He wasn't there that long, but he's
good guy.
Yeah, great player there. Anquan for sure. I think Chris McAllister should be in. I don't know why he's not in.
Yep.
And honestly, we crap on him a lot, but John Harbaugh belongs in there. If you're gonna have Brian Billick in the Ring of Honor, John Harbaugh.
Do coaches go in the Ring of Honor?
Yeah, Brian Billick's in. So I'm saying if Brian Billick's in, John Harbaugh absolutely belongs in the Ring of Honor as well. Right after you fire him. If you do them at the same time, maybe it'll soften the blow, and he won't even, he won't be upset. But anyway, the exact moment you realized that EDC wasn't a good GM. Nada is in, Ferris. Thank you. So I always had questions about EDC. When he took Patrick Queen over T. Higgins, I was very, very critical of that. But I was like, okay, maybe he's still, going to do a good job. I figured game too easy, but I'm reading the YouTube usernames. But thank you. What it was for me was when he looked at James Prochet and Devin Duvernay and that gaggle of misfits, and he said, "We're good at receiver." I knew that he was a terrible GM then.
Now, B is usually quicker to see the issues that come up on my team than I am, right? Before we even got on YouTube, this is like Flacco. Let's like right after the Super Bowl, I want to say. B used to tell me that Harbaugh wasn't that good of a coach. And I used to everything that we argue with you guys with now, all the talking points that you guys say now, I used to say that back in the day. I'm like, man, you're crazy. He's one of the best coaches in the league. And B would just calmly just say, no, man, he's not good. And he's like, don't you notice the games that you lose, how you lose? He's like, you always play down to the level of competition. Yeah, you beat the top teams because you get the teams ready. He's like, but good coaches are supposed to get you ready for every game, and he never has that team ready. And that has stuck with me all throughout these years because that's exactly how John Harbaugh coaches his team. They're never prepared. And that speaks to how we perform in the playoffs, how we go out. That speaks to the penalties. We didn't even talk about how we had to hire a private referee to help us work on limiting our penalties. Right? That goes to show you how undisciplined we are as a team. But to answer the question, for me, EDC, like the minute I gave him a lot of grace in the beginning. I said he's going to figure it out. I believe he was going to be a great GM. But the minute for me where I was just like, nah, he can't do it, is when Lamar Jackson asked for a trade. Right? If you guys don't remember, that was the offseason where we were supposed to get him signed, and the league colluded against him to make sure he didn't go anywhere else and he couldn't get a fully guaranteed contract. And also, he had said a few times that he didn't need his contract to be fully guaranteed. There's a certain number that he wanted to hit in terms of guaranteed money. And that should have been a piece of cake.
Yeah.
If he said, I don't need my whole contract to be guaranteed, I need $150 million of it guaranteed. Oh, sweet. We can get this deal done right now. Right? It's only the Ravens that try to make it hard to negotiate deals. What's going on, Zeke? Thanks for coming through. The Chiefs shows you how easy it is to get those deals done. Nobody even knew that they were negotiating. Right. All we knew is that when it got reported that the deal was done. That's how quick it happened. The question was,
when was the exact moment you realized EDC wasn't a good GM?
Now, yes, it was when Lamar Jackson asked for a trade, and I don't want to hear about the owner because people say, "Oh, well, that's out of his control." No, it's not completely out of his control. You're the GM. You have some say. You convince the owner, "Hey, man, this has to get done." Right? We have to guarantee him. If it's not the full guarantee, we have to guarantee. We have to give him more guarantees than anybody else, and he's worth it. Right? You have to convince him of that. You can't just go along with it. Like, for those of you who don't know, EDC has been the GM in waiting for years.
Mm-hmm.
When Ozzie Newsome was the GM here, EDC had plenty of opportunities to go elsewhere. Plenty of opportunities. He's turned down a ton of interviews. He has, not the team. A ton of team as an assistant GM. People were trying to poach him for a long time, and he decided to stay here to be the GM in waiting for when Ozzie retired. So it was a choice that he made to stay here. If you're going to make that choice, you got to have that understanding like, hey, when I take over as GM, I get to do things my way. I'm showing you all this loyalty. I'm not going anywhere. It could be a smooth transition from when Ozzie leaves to when I take over, but I got to have a certain amount of control. I got to have a certain amount of say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he should have worked that out. And if you're telling me now that he's so powerless that he can't even fire John Harbaugh, right? Then that's on you, bro. You decided to stay in this situation. You can still go anywhere else. You can say, hey, if I'm not going to have any say, I can't even bring in the coach that I want. I can't get the quarterback signed the way I want to get him signed. Let's just part ways now and I go somewhere else. You can do that. Yeah. He decided to stay. So he's complicit in this. That's when I realized he's not a good GM.
Yeah. All right, next up, we have questions from Jay. Jay always bending the rules, but not breaking. Putting two questions in, one for each of us. Jose, do you believe that Mike Green will make the Ravens regret picking up Oweh's fifth-year option?
No. I thought we needed two edge rushers.
You got Van Noy and Adisa Isaac and Tavius Robinson
for like one more year. Nobody even talks about Adisa Isaac. You notice that?
I know.
No, like
well, he was picked in the third round.
Guy.
You can't expect anything out of him.
No. I think they're both going to be very good edge rushers, and I think that just helps the defense. That's not going to be a regrettable move. I look at a second round, a first round talent. I ain't mad at that pick at all.
All right, and for me, he says, do you believe that the Panthers have a chance to win both offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year? No. I think that it's possible with McMillan, but highly unlikely. That award is going to go to either the best quarterback or Ashton Genty. But it's very, very difficult for wide receivers to win awards like that over quarterbacks, running backs, things like that. So I don't think that they'll win there, but it is possible. I think he is skilled enough to do it. On defense, I don't think they have any shot of winning it. I think Abdul Carter is going to be an absolute monster this year for the Giants. Even if he's not, I don't see the kind of years out of Scorton or Uemelen that would warrant Defensive Rookie of the Year. I do, however, think we're going to look back and say Dan Morgan had possibly the best draft class this past year. So I think all three of those guys are going to pan out, and I think he's going to hit on a couple of the later picks as well. So I think they're going to have a fantastic draft class as we look back on it, but I don't think they're going to be winning Offensive or Defensive Rookie of the Year. And our last question is from Shug. He says, if you could own one piece of memorabilia for any sports moment, what would you like to have?
From any sports moment?
Any sports moment.
Maybe Ali's gloves from the Rumble in the Jungle.
Okay. I was going to go a similar route, but with somebody I've actually seen. And I was going to say possibly Tito Trinidad's gloves. I think, I was going to say the fight against Oscar, but it wasn't like his greatest performance. But either Oscar De La Hoya or the night that he knocked out Fernando Vargas. I laugh, but Fernando Vargas was a good fighter, a good solid fighter, but my man had him stumbling all over the ring. But either one of those, I think that's one of my favorite times in boxing, watching Tito Trinidad go on that run. Because he wasn't the best boxer out there, he's not the greatest of all time or anything, but he was a very
great.
He was an extremely skilled fighter. He was a very fun fighter to watch, and he was that guy who was saying, "I'm going to fight champions." I'm going to take your belt. I'm going to move up. I'm going to take his belt. I'm going to move up. I'm going to take his belt. And he went on that run where he was the hottest thing in boxing, and he was knocking out champions left and right. And it was one of the things that made me fall in love with boxing.
Yeah. All right. T loves the answers. She says either the Ali moment or the Jesse Owens shoes. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Hendo says Ring Kings is back. Hey, stay tuned. Mm-hmm. I talked to OTR Mike the other day.
It's unfortunate.
He wants to make a comeback. Stay tuned. All right. Well, that's the show for now, because the overtime show is coming up next, and you don't want to miss that for as little as $5 a month. And I know you got $5 in your pocket. I know you do. Don't order DoorDash. Okay. Go pick up the food that's right around the corner. Save yourself $20. Okay. And spend $5 on us. You get a full month's worth of the overtime show. All right. Patreon.com/.
$5 on Rogue Pod.
Yeah.
$5 on Coach.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has a Patreon, but
yeah, I think she does.
Whoever else.
I think she does. There you go. And that's going to be way more fulfilling than that McDonald's that you ordered that's not meant to be delivered. McDonald's is meant to meant to be picked up through the drive-thru. By the time you take those fries home, they're already ruined. You have to eat them on the spot. You guys know this.
Jay
said Holyfield's ear.
You gotta stop
when Mike officially bit it off.
You gotta stop, man.
Listen. Don't let Jay distract you. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. We're talking Shannon Sharp. We're talking Gilbert Arenas. We're going to talk some more colorism that didn't exist in Martin, but absolutely exists in Tyler Perry movies. All right.
Yes, game. We watched the Shakur fight. Very, very, very impressive. Very impressive fighter, Shakur. And he's talking about fighting Tiafimo next. I don't think Tiafimo really wants that, but
he doesn't want anything.
I'll be there.
Tiafimo doesn't want to talk.
But like as I said, if you want to join us for the overtime show, hit that LBHT show or patreon.com/LBHT show. You can join. You get access to the overtime show. You get access to the Discord. You get access to our monthly book club that we have going on. We're reading The Ritual right now, a horror novel that Jay picked. You also get access to the online college football dynasty, which we're getting ready to get started up again for college football 26. Maybe we'll do something with Madden 2 when that comes out if there's some interest there. But there's a whole lot of value for that $5.
Yes. So sign up. We're trying to get those numbers up as well. All right. You can also gift it, just like you gift memberships. You can gift Patreon to members. Zeke is a benefactor of that. We actually gave some out for Christmas as well. We gave like a month of Patreon, I believe. So maybe this Christmas we might do it again. But check it out. It's well worth the price of admission. Even if you sign up for a month and decide not to continue it, you're still a member of our Discord. We don't kick anybody out. We're building that community over there. Just keep it respectful, And that's it.
Spirit of Justice says Tio's afraid of black fighters. Now, to be fair, he's also afraid of Mexican fighters. He's also afraid of white fighters. He's also afraid of Eastern European fighters. Like, come on now. Don't just single out the black fighters.
All right. That's the show. B, are you ready?
I am ready.
He is ready. Hey, this is the last week without football. Right?
Well, next week is the last week without football because our show is before the first game.
Yeah, but football's next Thursday. It starts next Thursday, right?
But we run things on our time. So next week is next Wednesday, so there's not any football, So, I mean, I guess we
will preview it. We're going to preview.
2 weeks from now, football will be gone.
All right. Football's around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Look, y'all have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we will see you next time. Peace.